Game start 6 Central in the Stegeman Coliseum, Athens, Georgia. Georgia 15-14, 5-11 in the SEC, taking on Ole Miss, which is 20-9 and 7-9 in the SEC. Georgia, I presume, maybe with a snowball's chance of the NIT at this point. Probably not, though, with all the games it has lost. Ole Miss is basically blown its shot at an NCAA tournament without stringing together a few wins here. If the Rebels are to have a chance, a win in Athens would be a must. Both teams struggling. Georgia probably struggling a little bit more, though. Max having lost 8 of its last 9 games. We keep thinking this team is going to get over the hump, and maybe by we, I say me. But that has not happened. And now it looks like Georgia is going to be, in spite of all that, a 2-point favorite, according to Ken Palm, in Athens on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're going to have another probably 1-2 possession spread here. Once again, this week is just going to be a crazy week, close to a 50-50 game as you can get here. And to the common fan, this might just be some, throwaway game, but this game has huge implications on SEC tournament seeding, especially for Ole Miss, who's bottled up there right near that 7, 8, 9, 10 range. So when these teams haven't played yet, and when I'm breaking them down, when I'm looking at Ole Miss and who they're playing, I always like to look at the opponent 2-point defense, because Ole Miss is they'll hit a few threes and they'll hit them at high percentage, but they're not going to take a lot. They're not going to rely on that. When Ole Miss is at their best, it's when Jamin Breakfield's putting in work inside. It's when Flanagan's getting to his mid-range pull-ups comfortably, not forced with a hand in his face with 1 second left in the shot clock. And then you're able to open up Morrell and Murray and these guys that shoot 40% plus from 3. Georgia is a great matchup, actually, for Ole Miss. Georgia does not defend inside the arc well at all, actually dead last in the SEC, allowing a pretty jarring 54% inside to SEC opponents. So I think that is a great stat to pull on if you're looking at the Ole Miss path to victory. Man, getting easy buckets inside and not having to rely on all these mid-range tough pull-up jumpers will be a huge help for this offense to get going. But then on the flip side, looking at the Georgia offense, this is a team that likes to get to the free throw line. The numbers won't show it as much, but when you watch this team, those guards are ultra aggressive. Hill, Demery, Thomason, they like to get to the line, and this is an Ole Miss defense that lately has struggled with that a lot. So I think that the matchup that the guards will have, especially on Juju Murray, he struggled defensively. I think that Hill, Demery, these guys can really break down this Ole Miss defense one-on-one off the dribble. So I see paths where both offenses can kind of get going here. Just not giving a pick on my side yet, but I do like the over in this one. I think this is a matchup where both offenses can get going.
Yeah, you may be right. I don't trust Georgia's offense, as we all know at this point. I don't know. And I think what we saw from Georgia against A&M was very interesting, because I just thought that was actually not the worst matchup for Georgia. And then they come out and score 56 points. They get beat by 14, and you just were kind of left with a sour taste in your mouth, I think, coming out of that game, because I thought that was a decent opportunity, coming off the 1-point loss to LSU where they almost won. And, then you just came back home and just did not play well. And I wonder if that's kind of the same scenario here against a team that's in the exact same spot as Texas A&M was, and that's Ole Miss, in a must-win game. They cannot lose this game, or they are done in terms of their NCAA tournament hopes, I would think, unless they were to get to the SEC championship, maybe, something like that. That's just my guess. I don't know if that's exactly how it works out, because it all depends on what other bubble teams do. But, so I think motivation level is very interesting, because I just don't know what Georgia's motivation level is at this point. And Ole Miss has every reason in the world to come out and be as motivated as they've been all season. So,
all right, time for picks. I'll start. I think Blake hit one of my 2 keys. What is everybody playing for here? I think Ole Miss has still got a lot more to play for. I think Ole Miss is of the 1st of March was the 6th team out of the tournament, according to Joe Lunardi. So don't know if this weekend really moved the needle any or not. Probably not much to speak of.
No.
But it's one that you had to win to stay alive. So Georgia's 1-for-1 in that scenario. By the way, you go back and look at the teams these teams have lost to recently, as both have been in skids. Their teams are going to the NCAA tournament for the most part. So, but that's just what these teams are. Georgia's certainly not an NCAA tournament team. Ole Miss is not at the moment, but Ole Miss has a chance to work its way back in there. Sometimes these games just become I know this is cliched, who can score more points. Forget the defense in this game a little bit. I like Georgia, I like Ole Miss with Morrell's a guy that could step up and give you 30 in the spot. You could get 20 out of Flanagan. You get 20 out of Murray. You get good offensive game out of Brakefield. Georgia's got guys who can score. It just doesn't have as many who can score with the volume that Auburn, I'm thinking Alan Flanagan. Ole Miss's top-end guys have. So give me Ole Miss on the road.
Forgot to actually say this, so thanks for reminding me, Chris, but Alan Flanagan's got a hamstring injury also. Flanagan exited the last game with a hammy. So if he's out, boy, that will change things. But you know me, I've been pulling for Ole Miss all year long, and I have a good idea on where Blake's going to go here. Actually, I know where Blake's going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guarantee Chris Beard and the Rebels a chance to keep their postseason hopes alive. And I'll take Georgia at home here.
Yeah, you better be glad you did that because I'm picking Ole Miss.
I knew it. That's why Georgia. I did it. You're welcome.
I can't say I fully trust Ole Miss either because, again, as I point out in the power rankings, they've gotten 2 wins since January the 30th, and both came against the team that's 0-16 in the SEC. So I can't say I fully trust Ole Miss just yet either. But I just feel like Georgia has we've seen these letdowns time and time again now for Georgia. And I can't trust them based on what I saw against Texas A&M. Even if, like I said, Max, I think you're right. This will be probably more higher scoring than that game was, but I can't trust this Georgia team right now based on kind of the variety of results we've seen from them. So, give me Ole Miss on the road to keep their NCAA tournament hopes somewhat close to intact. So,
just fair warning, guys. I had to hit the mute button for a while because something you said about the dogs upset my man Oreo in the background. I don't know. He's trying to tell us something. I don't know what it is, but we'll find out. Anyway, moving on. Auburn and Missouri. Blake, what can we say about Auburn and Missouri other than that it's 8 Central on the SEC network?
Well, it's a battle of 2 Tigers. And you want to talk about matchups that are not great for a certain team. Probably not a lot of teams you could draw up worse than Auburn for Missouri. Just based on the fact that how Auburn defends and just, how pretty consistent they are, I think, offensively now. Like, even their three-point shooting, you guys have probably noticed, it's continued to go up. We have our fun here. I don't like to have fun. I like to, just not have a lot of fun. But I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say about this game. I mean, this is I tried the power of positivity. Now I'm going with the power of negativity. Positivity did not work for Missouri against Ole Miss. So I will leave it to Max to craft something for the Tigers here. Either Tiger. Take your pick. Whatever Tiger you want to craft something for, craft it for him in the Battle of the Tigers in Columbia.
Well, I will say this. Not too long ago, I think it was just 2 weeks ago, actually, Missouri hosted Tennessee in a very similar situation where we said, I can't really think of a worse matchup. Well, in that Tennessee game, Missouri was leading by 7 with 15 minutes left in the game. They just have a way somehow of, like, when they play Arkansas and we're like, there's a chance here. There's a chance for Missouri. They could do it. and then they go and get beat 88-73. Somehow in all these games where we say, yeah, I don't know what you want me to say, this one's probably going to be rough for Missouri, they always are like winning at halftime or something. So it's nothing about the matchup. It's just whenever we've doubted Missouri, they've always made it interesting. When you have that stat about Sean East and how close every game that Sean East plays in usually is, spread's going to be out near 15, deep double digits. I don't know just yet. Not looking at anything in the matchup. All I'm saying is every time this year that we said we don't give Missouri half a chance, it's a single-digit game with a few minutes left.
All right, picks and why. One team has won 22 times. The other team has lost 21 times. Give me Auburn.
Yeah, I just made the case for why it might be close, but it doesn't mean I'm going to pick them outright. I think Auburn's going to win the game here. Broom's a brutal matchup, probably a worse matchup than ADU even is, with just how elite Broom is offensively. I'm not taking anything away from ADU, but Broom is just a level above right now. I think he's probably the best big man in the conference. So, yep, brutal matchup, but do not be surprised. I'm telling you right now, do not be surprised if there's 5 minutes left in this game and it's a 6-7 point game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've pointed out throughout the season that Missouri has kept these games close, and they've been the unluckiest team in college basketball in terms of you play this out any other way, 9 times out of 10, they're winning at least a couple of these games somewhere. Unfortunately, this has been the year where they just haven't found a way to do it. And I'm obviously going to pick Auburn in this game, but there's something to what Max said. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a little bit close, but problem is, I don't know. I just think, again, matchup-wise, if Auburn is on their game here, they are going to be able to do whatever they want on both sides of the floor. And, Auburn's not been the greatest road team. I think that's something we talked about this season. They've had some stretches where they don't play that well, but you look at who they've lost to on the road, even App State, right? Like that's a pretty good team.
Pretty good, yeah.
So every team they lost to on the road is in the NCAA tournament as of right now, right? And So, I mean,
yep.
That's all I would add is I wouldn't be shocked if Auburn maybe came out flat a little bit, but the matchup's too good to pick against them. So
we'll be back to wrap up whatever happens on Tuesday on Wednesday morning. Best way to get that, hit the subscribe button, enable your notifications so you can catch all our content. We got baseball stuff on the way, some football stuff here and there. Thank you for watching us here at Southeastern 14, presented by Bet Online. We'll see you again soon.